But we are now, ready to start today. Hi,
Yeah.
girls. How are you?
Nice to see you too. Yeah. So last time we kind of took a quick pause, I guess, or yeah, because we've been busy because it's the golf season, I guess. And yeah, but we're back. So this podcast, it's called As Any. And a very quick intro about our podcast because this is our technically a third time, I think, if I'm correct.
Indeed.
So for those of you who are new to our podcast or who have watched our live streaming or recording, yeah, we actually like recreated this podcast as a brand new podcast. We've been actually doing a quite similar podcast, like more of a coffee chat, but we rebranded and we have a little bit more new concept to that. So we wanted to actually yeah, talk more about like tech and the inclusivity. And yeah, definitely like we want to welcome everyone and we wanted to tell you all that you belong in tech and we also belong in a tech. So we have we have several different types of the I would say episodes. So today we talk as chat as any. So it means no guest, but anyone whoever is watching this episode is welcome to ask us questions in live. And we want to, like pick your questions in live. So make sure that if you have anything want to share with us, yeah, definitely do that. And you can, you can write anything you want to ask us or any comments, like in the YouTube live comment. I guess. Yeah. So yeah, that's who we are. And I think if we want to quickly introduce about ourselves, we also can do that. What do you think, Alba, Josephine?
Yeah, I think we can introduce the topic of today since we will be probably showcasing some of our pet projects. And that's the main goal of this episode to just talk about what are pet projects, what are we doing outside job hours, things like that, and the curious projects that we created for something that maybe we find useful to share with the audience. And of course, if you have any pet project you want to showcase with us today, just leave us in the chat so we can open it and see what you created. That would be amazing, actually.
Oh, so curious. Yeah, and where was I going? I got very distracted by the idea that we could see somebody else's project. No, but I'm also really excited because I feel like that's such a pet peeve of developers that we all have like a drawer full of ideas and of started projects that may or may not get finished depending on how quickly the new ideas come in. So I think this is very relatable. It's definitely accompanied me throughout my journey of being a developer or in the tech space in general. And I feel like that's also such a nice icebreaker if you ever go to a meetup or a networking or anything and you don't know what to talk about. Ask people about their pet projects and you're going to have a long flowing conversation usually. So I think that's a really safe space. And of course, nothing is off limits, right? Like if you feel like something isn't finished or maybe it's not the part of your work that you're most proud of, or you feel like it still needs a lot of work, that's all part of the journey because that's the reality of pet projects. Like life is busy and then things go sideways, I guess.
Indeed. So difficult to talk about purpose when you are having a bunch of ideas at the same time and then you start something and then you didn't finish but you start another one, and we will see a lot of that in today's episode because I think none of my projects were finished at the end, but it doesn't matter, isn't it? If there is some part of it live, I consider it in production even if it's not finished. I think every project should be ongoing at some point, isn't it, if it's a good project, because you want to get better and add more features to it. So yeah. Very cool. So maybe we can start the conversation talking for the people that don't know anything about what is a pet project. Maybe it's a terminology we use a lot in tech and maybe not everyone is aware of that, isn't it? So who wants to start? What is a pet project for you?
Well, for me, the pet project is that something you don't need to promise anyone that you're gonna build it by certain time and release it, but it's more for yourself to grow your skill while you're building the actual apps. I mean, the apps features do not have to be spectacular or something, that you're gonna win an award or stuff like that. It's more for your own, like technical skill growth. So while you're also like learning, also can build something hands-on. That's what I know as the pet projects, and that's what I also know from the folks out there. What do you
Yeah, and I
guys
think
also think?
oh, sorry. I think the most common one is the to-do app, right? Like whenever you start learning to code, is one of the first things that you build yourself some sort of to-do app where you can kind of showcase a little bit of your work or what you learned. So maybe you have a nice interface, then you have a list, you have a few items, then you get fancy and you can delete them, or maybe you add like animations. And I feel like every developer or many developers surely have like worked on a version of the to-do app. And I think that's also part of what pet projects are, a way to showcase your work, for example, on GitHub or wherever you publish your work, but like to say, hey, this is what I'm working on. This is my skill set, and I can demonstrate it for portfolio and for just general, like who you are as a developer. And so I think that's a great chance also. And that's why, I mean, learning is fun, but also it's a way to like position yourself and what you're interested in.
Really good points out there. And actually, I think that for me, when I start working, I didn't know anything about pet projects, or at least not about the concept of having one as part of your curriculum or as part of your pitch when you try to join a company. And for me, it was really difficult to differentiate myself and actually prove my skills till I start learning about the open source community, how they create libraries and projects and everything open source so people can saw it. Because every pet project I had was somehow related to my company even. So I couldn't show it, even if it was created for fun by myself. I still created in a closed source inside the company. So it's a really good point that if you want to get to a new job or a new place, it's better to have something to showcase than just being really good at something. Because of course you can be really good and don't have how to prove it till the technical assignment. But maybe in the process of the funnel of selecting people, you are not selected because don't having these pet projects to showcase you. And it's a really bit sad, this situation, that people
Yeah.
needs to do something outside job to get a better job or a raise or whatever. But it's how it is. Yeah.
And also, I was thinking about like I think Julia Undeutsch, who's also in the accessibility space, and I think Arisa knows her personally. She talks a lot about how to get into tech and how to like develop your portfolio if you're maybe somebody who comes from a different background, who's just learning about things. And like showcasing your work is such a great way to also show you know how to work with GitHub or GitLab if you're using that. It's how to do you know how to structure a project, you know how to write commit messages. Like there's all these small things that at some point we all take for granted, but actually it's so nice for an employee to see, especially if you're maybe more junior, if you don't have a previous job that you're coming from that you can use as a reference. It's like your way to show like, hey, I know how to do all these like meta things. Or even to say like, okay, maybe my job is in a specific kind of framework, a specific kind of language, but actually I want to shift to something else. And how would they know that you also have that skill, right? And so you could show, hey, I'm doing things beside my work. I have all these qualifications. I wasn't able to use them in the day-to-day, basically. So that's also, I think, a really massive benefit. And maybe I'll look up Julia's article on how to showcase your work on GitHub because I thought it was so helpful.
Sorry, I guess like for a moment from my side, it got frozen. So bear with me if
Oh,
I missed anything for like the conversation. But I think I got most about the part. So that would be okay, I guess. I was just trying to make sure for the audiences that in case if they missed in the beginning, yeah, we just started. So yeah, don't worry about missing too many things. So yeah. And I see Haley, I guess. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. I already see, yeah, people were waiting for us. So welcome to our As Any podcast, and thanks a lot for already sharing your comment. We are already happy to see that.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot more important, like the point about the meta in scare quotes task. That's so much more important than we think. Because sometimes if you're in a workplace, you take certain things for granted, but they're not. And especially if you come from a different background, you may not know these things, and they also take effort to learn. And so if you can showcase that you know how to work with a versioning system, for example, or how to,
Mm.
I don't know, maybe not use Jira, but maybe use any kind of like how to break down requirements, how to work with requirements. You can also create like task lists in GitHub, etc. Right? So there's lots of different ways in which you can show all these different skills. Even like I try to discipline myself and write proper commit messages and not like force push everything on the main branch. But it's like all these small things in which you can show that you care about like quality work, and it's a really small things, but it's very valuable if you want to get employed or if you want to get freelance work or whatever. So I think it's just really like not to be overlooked, I guess.
Yeah, really, really good points there.
And I found one article by Julia. I'm just gonna share it. Wait, can I share it in the chat? I will try. But basically, this work. I've had issues with the chat in the past. Let's see if it works.
Yeah, I think I can saw it.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so it's on DevTO, and her name is Yuri Dev AT, and she's talking about how she found her, yeah, pronouncing things in German in my head. No, but she's talking about how to, like, I think it sounds really flashy, how to make small projects seem big, but actually it's about all these things, how you can like present your work, and I think that's super valuable.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
And I'm curious about what are you working on currently, or maybe just because you want to explore new technology, or maybe because you want to actually create something that you like to have. I'm curious. So, who wants to share the projects they are working on?
Are you asking the audience? Because I don't want to be awkward and be like, here are all my projects, but
No, but also you, of course, you.
no, because then I can maybe share. So, wait, let me see if I can actually even share my screen. I should have totally tried that before.
No,
Okay,
don't worry.
so
Oh,
yeah, now you can see my screen. And
cute.
basically,
Ah.
I started a mentorship with a woman who's also coming on our stream later this month, I think, or next month. In one of the next session, her name's Violetta. She's a really great mentor, and we were talking about how to deepen front end skills, basically. Which is what I wanted to do because I feel like in the years that I worked as a DevRel, I was focusing on very specific technologies, and I really wanted to get back into CSS and HTML and kind of just like work with the basics, basically. And what she did, and what I find really, really amazing, is that she had a list of projects and she shared them with me. And so you have a project, and then there is kind of like a visuals, for example,
Nice.
like a screenshot of a UI or an app. There's different kinds of challenges, as she calls them, right? And then there are a bunch of requirements. And so the details are not important if this is too small for you to read, but it basically means there are different requirements where she defines what would make this project complete, kind of, right? So, and it doesn't matter, like in this case, it's a restaurant menu where you retrieve the items for the menu from an API. And then there is an increased difficulty level. So if you've basically matched all the requirements above, then you can go to next level. There's a hover state. There's more things that are introduced, basically. And then she also shares the assets. And first of all, that's like a lot of work that she put in, and I just want to like value that so much because it's like I had so much fun creating the outcome of it. And for me, it was super helpful because I kind of got stuck in tutorial hell, and I was just like focusing on the wrong thing, copy pasting, and it was just not doing it for me, for my kind of learning. Everybody learns differently. And so what I then started to do was basically I created a repo, and I started following all the design design choices that she made to make something that looks like and behaves like what she created. And I made a few adjustments for example, for accessibility purposes. And then I also wrote like this is the tiniest description, but I also made a README so people know what the project is about, right? And so I finished the first one, and then I moved on to the second one, which you briefly saw in the hey, BB.
Hi, Vivi.
Oh my God, my attention span is so bad. No, but really happy to see some friends join us. I moved on to the second challenge, which was already a little bit more challenging, and which, of course, I haven't finished yet. But it's like a sign-up form. Again, there was like a little UI overview with a sign-up form on one side and a very cute illustration on the other side. And then I started working on it, implemented the stylings. I tried to implement BEM for the first time, which was very new and very confusing to me, instead of just using CSS. And I came up with a mobile version because I thought that would be fun, because else the form looks kind of weird on mobile. And so this is running on localhost. But of course, there are a few requirements which I haven't figured out yet, and they're still on my to-do list. But this is basically like my most recent pet project. And of course, I hope to kind of graduate from project 2, because there's 7 in total. So I still have a big journey ahead of me. But I felt just like a giddy little kid trying to figure out CSS. I don't know. I just love it. It's so fun, even though I'm so bad at it. So I really
Nah,
enjoy
don't say that. I'm pretty sure you are fine. No, but that's really cool. It looks amazing. It's nice that you are having your little fun, even when, yeah, you can do it at work because you have your priorities and whatever, and you can focus on whatever you want to grow on, but you still have the time in your own peace to do it. That's amazing.
And also,
Congrats. Yeah.
it's not, I think, like, even if we get to do stuff at work, it's always different to kind of, there's a different pressure attached. Maybe you don't have the time to investigate so deeply. And so with a pet project, it really provides kind of the opportunity to be like, hey, I'm actually really interested in that. Why does it behave the way it does? Or what is the best practice? And so I think there's like so much opportunity in that. Even if I were to do this in my day-to-day, like, working on CSS, I think this is still, there's so much benefit for me, at least. It's more chill to go that way, basically. Yeah. Alba, do you have any pet projects that you've been working on recently? I'm so curious.
Well, actually, yes, but in my case, it was more something I created for, let's say, a talk that I needed to do, but I start digging into it even more after that because I really like it. So let me share the screen entirely because I think it will be better, because it's not a web application, because usually, as you already know, I'm a web developer, so usually I work with creating websites with front-end stack, but I never create a desktop app or any kind of other kind of tools. And in this case, I want to explore with web technologies how to create a Chrome extension. And that's how I discovered some packages that we have out there. One of them is called Vitesse WebEx, that is just a template with Vue and Bit that provides you the basics on how to create a Chrome extension. So you just need to create the components that you want. And in this case, I created one and I just install it, unpack, because of course I didn't deploy it yet. It's just in my local. And once it's installed, you can use it inside the extensions as you will do with any other extensions out there. So I create this little pop-up that has a way of connecting to a third party that in this case I will not do because I want to showcase how it will look even if you don't have that third party. And in this case, if I get started in my app, I created 2 pages. So that was the first route. And now we have the second route. And the second route is just like a landing page where you have a menu where you can navigate and see different stuff. So for example, for the assets, what I do is get all the assets from the website I'm currently seeing, in this moment Pinterest, and extract it from the entire site. So I can select them and download them and forget about navigating all of these and seeing them. I created this because I wanted to create in that third party push that images to create content or whatever. But still, I found it useful even without connecting to the third party to just download it to your laptop. So you can download it and it will generate a zip with all the images. And I create the code to generate the zip too. I didn't knew how to do that in the past because I never did it. So that was like a process of learning different things from the browsers itself and connecting with different APIs from the browser that usually in a website, I don't use them. Unless you have a chat or tools like that needs more interaction. In a normal day, I usually don't touch them. That's why I start creating this. So one of the things I also learned is how to play with the audio API. So as you can see here, I have a little song that I included. Of course, maybe you will not listen to it, but if I play, it sounds basically. And I have like the play and pause based on the audio API response. So I was so happy about that because I love music and I really like to play with this kind of stuff. And of course, the extension has also different parts, let's say. So right now we are seeing a pop-up, but you can also have an option page that basically is a page inside your extension project that lives in another place. But this place, we want to connect in somehow with that pop-up. So what they do is basically create reference from view using the reactivity system from view. You can change something here and it will change in all the places that you have some kind of code for the extension, like in the pop-up. So for example, if I click this, now I will have a different view here that instead of being download, we can upload to that third party. Because I have that connection already made between the entire extension. I know what settings were configured, but that's because of the template. I didn't work on that, It's like they use the reactivity system from Vue and the local storage from the browser to do that. I just use it. And it's amazing because I don't need to implement anything by myself, but it still is connected. So here, if I open, we can also see the same app. This app is just using the same as the pop-up, but this menu is a content script. That is another thing that is injected in the website you are looking in that moment. And that's crazy because I needed to fight with all the data from the CSS of that page to don't break my own CSS for that specific thing. So I was like, okay, what do I need to do? Okay, I need to start again the normalizer, whatever. That was a challenge because it's an app inside another app. So yeah, it was crazy. But at the end, with this web extension template, it didn't took me that long as you can imagine because everything was already set up, the really strong basement, and I just created the look UI because I searched on Dribbble also, and the design is not mine either, but still, it looks amazing and I'm so happy. So now I can have my own images uploaded to my third party or downloaded to my desktop from any website I open. So if I go to another website, for example, Splash, that is also image prone, you can have the images. And that's it. Is it?
Wow.
Voila.
That's very impressive. And it sounds like you covered so many bases and you got to touch so many different kind of topics in that process. So that's really, really, really nice. Like, I'm very impressed that I want to try it now. It's also so handy to just download things, right? Like I do that. I screenshot everything.
But that's the thing, isn't it? I start creating this because I found sometimes I need to do so many stuff that can be automated. And of course, there is already Chrome extensions out there to do that job. But it still is funny to do it because I want this specific use case. Okay, let's search how to do it. So I have a script and that script will do it for me anywhere. And that's it. I mean, literally, I create 3 scripts. That's what I created. But it still looks so fancy that you think, oh my God, there's so many stuff going on. No, actually, I'm just getting the data and...
No, but it's really impressive. Really cool. Oh my God, you can be so proud. You can monetize this probably if you wanted to.
Thank you. Yeah, my idea is that right now, the only part I'm... is open source is this part, the assets part, but the rest of the music post is still ongoing. But at some point I want to make it open source so people can use it or create their own with that template, look and feel, or whatever. So yeah, when it's posted, I will share the link somehow, somewhere.
Making our pet projects into an open source is also like one of the great way, right, to keep learning from the community. Because I mean, like yeah, open source community is really huge. And I mean, getting, like the knowledges and the help sometimes from someone who you usually don't work with is also like a good opportunity to gain your new skill set and to communicate with the others, like who are also interested in the common, like technologies and the features that you're implementing in. So yeah, let us know like if you are gonna open up to, like fully open source about your project. I'm interested in.
Of course.
And that's also a great point you're talking about open source, Arisa, because it's Hacktober, isn't it? So this is the perfect time to get started in open source if you're not doing it already. And it's also a great way to, like, of course, if you're already very experienced and you've done this ages, nice, continue, do your thing, teach us, like share the knowledge. But if you're new, it's also there's like lots of, you can add a label to issues that says good for beginners and good first issue. And so it's, even if you don't have a ton of experience, it would be a great place to start. And so there's many different opportunities and ways to contribute knowledge. It doesn't have to be code, and it doesn't have to be something that you're not comfortable with. You'll get feedback, and mostly people are very nice and very welcoming. And like you said, Arisa, right, it's super valuable to get feedback from different perspectives. So that's a good point, Hacktober. Thank you for sharing the link.
Ah, yeah. Sorry, it didn't display on the screen because I noticed that I commented like on the YouTube comment.
Yeah,
but
exactly. I have
now,
too many windows open.
now there's the magic happen. So
For sure.
yeah,
And
helping each other.
I mean, after Alba's very impressive project, it might not be so fun to talk about, but we also have a shared pet project, right? It's more of the ones that are kind of dusty and need more love, let's say.
No, but let's say that we try to do it as fast as we can to have the message going. So that's a good point. We need to have something initially, even when we are in progress in other stuff.
Yeah.
So we created a website.
Yeah. So there is a website for the Ask Any podcast, but it is very much under construction, and that's also what it looks like. And we're not proud, but it's in progress. Maybe we should have made it open source for and created some issues for Hacktober. No, but that's something we started together, and we're really happy to continue. But of course, as always, life and then it got other things were more important, let's say it like that, right?
Indeed.
Yeah, and
But
also
maybe
depending
we
on
can-
like what you want to learn or what you need to prioritize to learn, like our interests would change as well. Because I think like when we originally originally started, we picked the technology to use Astro, but then later on we moved on to be actually like framework free. So we stick to the library, which is Vue. So yeah, I mean like our interest has shifted at some point, but it is okay because it's a pet project. It's nothing that we need to promise to everyone. Of course, it's going to be nice, but that's something we do that for our own learning journey. So yeah, and I mean, again, if like our communities and like the audiences who are watching our episodes wants to contribute, of course, we're happy to hear about it too.
that would be
Yeah,
fun.
but just wanted to, like make sure to let you know that we also have a pet project like as any, but it's under the construction. So
Much so, that's true. No, but I really, yeah, of course, you don't owe anybody anything. It's just that I realized also I tried to create portfolio websites for myself, and every time my interests change, I start a new repo and I start developing it in a different framework, and you would not believe how many times I've started. But I can tell you how many times I've finished. 0. I don't have a portfolio page. It's so funny. But I have too many private repos where I just started and be like, it would be so fun to do this in Svelte. Oh no, let me try Astro. Oh, what about 11T? Like, why? What? And oh my God. Somebody
Yeah,
stop me. It's not good.
this is the hardest part of living in the front end world, right?
Hmm.
I mean, you need to clone yourself into probably like 5 times so that you can finally get to learn like deep for these old technologies that are coming up, or keep updating like the major releases. But yeah, I mean, at least it's really fun to catch it up. Never makes us get bored, so I still like it.
We have even a meme, it seems, that it should be related with it, I guess. Have you seen the meme with the tray of donuts and everyone has a bite out of it? Yeah, that's us. Yeah, we are trying everything. And that's also something to blame to the DevRel ecosystem because when we were working, the three of us as DevRels, we were just trying to get up to speed with the community and try to get the latest also in our product, and that was difficult to keep up because at the end, if you like something, you can never dig into as much as you want, and then a new stuff is coming, or maybe the version that they release at that time when you started now is completely different. It happens with Svelte, isn't it? You started Josi when it was like 0.
Yeah, it was still in beta and we were developing the SDK for it. And then, I don't know, like I was supposed to give a talk on the SDK that we developed. And then, oh, that was so heartbreaking. And I wasn't able to keep up with the news because there was a new release every day and we fixed stuff every day. And then I traveled to a conference and like, I don't know, days before, basically like there were so many breaking changes. It did not only break the changes, it broke my heart because painful. But I was just gonna say, like, if you're not fast enough delivering your pet project or your portfolio, and then there's already a new JavaScript framework, basically, like it just moves too quickly, and you're like a kid in a candy store, like you want to try it all, but it just not doesn't vibe with my personality. I get distracted way too easily, so.
And I remembered something now that you say that everything changed so fast, but it also changed the other way. I remember Arisa was working in Gatsby projects, and then at some point they get acquired by another company, and then we needed to focus on another stuff. How that feel, Arisa? Like seeing Gatsby that you love as a framework, isn't it? I remember you were so happy of using it, and at some point there wasn't a framework anymore. Like, of course there is a framework, but they stole your little puppet where you were playing with it for changing it for another. That was so sad. I mean, I felt so sad.
Yeah, probably we can move on from that legacy, I would say.
No
So
more.
you were happy then.
I mean, yeah. It's just like, yeah, I don't have a lot to say.
Most diplomatic answer I've ever heard to a problem like that. Yeah, appreciate it. No, but I think there's like, do you have any plans for anything that you want to build, anything you want to try in terms of pet projects? Like, I think once we have a design, I really do want to like put a little bit more force behind our website for SNE because I think it could be so fun. Like, we could have a lot of fun with it and learn a lot of cool stuff. And of course, I want to continue with the challenges because I got stuck on level 2 and that's kind of frustrating. Anything that you have planned or want to try?
Not like I have like the concrete information I can share with you, but you just mentioned if there's like a design already like ready, then it's gonna make our life so much easier to get hands on like right away. And I know the source like where you can actually like have that. And let me bring this up, but I forgot the name. What was the name of it? I guess I need to open up with a different browser. Then I know what I was talking about. So basically, like you can have as many as front-end focused like projects with the design like completely ready. So you don't need to actually like worry about thinking like these designs. Let me open this up. I guess it's this one. Oh yeah, it's this one. Yeah, something like this. I think I can even like share.
Yeah, that would be nice. You could share the
The
screen.
screen,
It would be a
which
little bit
looks
like
quite
with
chaos,
your
but
WhatsApp. I'm sorry.
sorry, one sec. My screen looks so chaos right now.
Don't worry.
Quickly closing all the online shopping. But that's me, right?
Yeah, let's do this. Okay. This looks much nicer. All right. So I think now I can share my screen. Which one? Screen. Figuring out things in life. That's nice. Yeah.
Oh,
This is the
nice.
one. So
Here front end.
yeah, it's called Great Front-End Projects, and I really like their resources because I mean, like they say, like this is in beta, but this is more than beta in my opinion. So I mean, first of all, I'm not promoting anything at all, by the way. So this is just like more useful information, if you want to give a try. So this is like, yeah, you can like pick up your project or the challenges, and then yeah, you will have like all these design ready. You just need to like download the Figma, and then you don't need to touch any designs at all. You even can have a look at specific, the numbers of the pixels or RAM and, like the values you need for styling it. So that's something I'm enjoying like nowadays. I mean, like that's the reason why I didn't mention that I have the pet projects like ongoing, because technically it's not my own idea. It's actually the ideas provided from the platform. But that's what I'm digging into it. And you can actually like search the different levels of the difficulties. So yeah, that's how you can also like probably like bring it into your own pet projects. And I guess some of them you can even put it into the portfolio. Or actually, I think you can put all in the portfolio, if I'm correct. Yeah.
This is so cool. This is very similar to what I shared in the beginning, right? Where you have kind of some requirements and you have a look that you want to go for, and it like removes so much pressure from the decisions that because I can't learn design at the same time as I'm trying to learn a new technology. It's just too much, at least for my little brain. So like it's so helpful if some decisions have already been made. And I think for me, this is the best way to learn to actually just do it. And so, yeah, this is so helpful. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah,
And
it's
I'm,
a really cool website indeed.
yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
sure there's other providers out there. But this is like what you found useful. So that's really nice.
Yeah, it's really like nice, and I get to enjoy. Oh, this looks a little bit promotional, so I deleted. I really get to enjoy. It's really like a bite size. If you go for like something a starter like level, and at the same time you can also challenge yourself with the senior. So yeah, you also even can pick the levels and
Cookie consent, that
Yeah.
hurts. Yeah. Yeah, it's like I don't want to do that anywhere.
that's completely up to you, but building something is
But
fun. So that's what it all matters. Yeah. I haven't yet shared the resource, so I think I'm gonna quickly do that.
Oh, I
But
already
yeah.
put it in the chat,
You
Arisa.
did? Okay, thank you. Sorry, I missed it.
teamwork.
That's really cool.
You
Yeah.
won't see any comments in my site because I don't know where I need to put them. So it's like I'm just ignoring the comment section.
Oh, that's fun. No, the website is called greatfrontend.com/projects if anybody's just on audio. So that might be
Indeed.
a fun thing to check out. Cool. Anything else that you want to share that you're looking forward to? Because I guess else we can slowly start wrapping things up.
Yeah, maybe what we can do is promise something for our
Ooh.
website right
Oh,
now
cool.
live. So we need to work on it at some point. But we don't need to propose a deadline. We can propose what we want to build.
And do you have things in mind? Because
I
I
have
don't.
ideas. I have ideas, of course. I mean, we already have content somewhere else, like in YouTube. So we can create a playlist in our site so we can have it represented there, maybe.
Mhm.
And maybe make some pictures of us.
Ooh, that would be
We
nice.
have, all of us, we have boyfriends. It's just casualty, but I mean, is what we have. So we can use them to make a picture of us
Oh,
and and put it in the website.
I was going to say my boyfriend's not going to be volunteering to be on our website, but if he's just
No,
behind
no,
the
no,
camera,
no,
he'll be fine.
no, not like the pet project pet. No, I mean to take the picture of us.
Yeah.
Use the resources,
We can see the
right?
different, yeah.
Use the that. No, that's fun. I would like to, on the website, I would like to have a form where people can suggest guests or topics.
I
Anonymous.
like it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, for me is, yeah, it's powerful. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a nice one. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Arisa, do you have anything on top of your head that you want to include in the website?
Well, I mean, forum was one thing I wanted to mention. So now we have one because I'm actually quite into nowadays, like digging deeper for like the full stack, or more, like more than just doing the front end because I'm horrible at doing styling, but I have fun implementing more full stack side of the features. So to make things like working by connecting the dots. So yeah, that's one thing I had. I mean, like, it's not like I had something like prepared in my mind, but yeah, definitely we could have, but want to keep it minimalistic because
Important.
if we start to like implement like whatever comes into our mind, it's gonna be harder to maintain. So like maintainability is something I do care about that too, because I know what had happened to all of my like really old portfolios. Like I think I created like 3 versions of my portfolios like in the past, and none of them like survived. So because I didn't want to maintain anymore.
Yeah, maintaining is a different topic.
Yeah, definitely.
Poof.
Maybe that's a topic for a new stream.
Indeed. We never talk about it. That's if in the audience you like the topic of maintaining a project, maybe we can bring someone that is an expert on open source or whatever, that they have maintained different ecosystems. That would be fun. That would be fun for sure.
Yeah. Because I mean, maintaining applications with some involvements from the communities, then it has much more responsibilities. So you will have something to push yourself doing that. But if you're gonna just do it for your own, that's another story.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
No, for sure. But speaking of upcoming episodes, if you wanted to join our next one, it'll be on the 29th of October live. We'll also share the RSVP link and it'll be here. So you'll know where to find it basically. But it's in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, yeah, and it's still in October. That's what I was going for. It's going to be like Halloween themed, isn't it? So close to Halloween, yeah. No, and we have an awesome guest coming. Maybe we can also already tease that, and we'll talk about mentorships and mentoring, probably. Yes, that's going to be exciting. Awesome. Any last words? Anything we need to wrap up? Or are you good?
Sorry, I was just quickly posting in a comment where, like, folks can sign up for the next episode. So
nice.
Sorry for the weird silence, but I just wanted to make sure that we do that. So here you can click the link from the, I guess, YouTube live comment, and here you can see the link on the screen. So now you're not gonna miss it. So we're gonna create the meetup page like in a couple of days before, of course, like in advance of like our next episode. So you can sign up in there. Not gonna miss. Even if you miss or things change because of the schedules, you can always catch up by, like watching the recordings on our YouTube channel. So yeah, you can always have us in there. All right, so I think we're going to wrap up this episode. And thanks again, everyone, for joining live. That's really like a lot to us. Like I'm so happy about that, and see a lot of familiar faces. It's nice to see you all in here. And yeah, we also want to hear more from you as well. So if you have like anything, the topics you want to hear from us, like Josephine and Alba were saying. We are happy to hear from you. You know where to reach us out. You all can see like our usernames on X. LinkedIn is, I guess, all of us are in full name, so you can reach out to us. And yeah, definitely, like, we're excited to see you again. And I also wanted to tell you again, like, everyone belongs in a tech. We all belong in a tech. So let's catch up, in the next episode.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, looking forward to see you next time.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye.